Ever had that sinking feeling when you reach the TSA line and realize you forgot a rule? Well, get ready. In 2026, the rules for what you can bring in your carry-on are changing, and they're getting stricter. Imagine, you're rushing to catch your flight. You've got your bag packed, but as you approach the checkpoint, the TSA agent gives you a look. Suddenly, they're pulling things out of your bag, your phone charger, your travel-size perfume, maybe even your laptop. That's not just embarrassing, it could delay your trip, or worse. What if you could avoid that nightmare? What if you knew exactly what's allowed and what will get you in trouble next year? Let's dive in and make sure you never have to worry about TSA again. But first, let's talk about what's actually changing and why most people are totally unprepared. So what's different about the 2026 TSA rules? The biggest change? Electronics and liquids are being reorganized. For years, you've heard about the 311 rule for liquids. Containers must be 3.4 ounces or less, fit in one quart-sized bag, and you can only have one bag per passenger. But in 2026, that's expanding to include aerosols and gels, even things like hand sanitizer and hairspray. Here's the twist. Not all aerosols are allowed, and the list of banned items just got longer. You might be surprised by what's now off-limits. Also, there's a new rule for batteries. If you're carrying spare lithium batteries, they have to be in your pocket, not your bag. TSA is cracking down hard on this one. And get this, power banks over a certain wattage, you'll need to check those at the gate, even if they're under 100 watt-hours. So what does this mean for you? If you don't update your packing habits, you could be in for a rough surprise at the airport. But wait, there's more to it than just batteries and liquids. Next, we'll talk about the items that are being banned outright in 2026. You might be carrying something right now that won't make it past TSA next year. Are you ready to find out what's getting pulled from bags across the country? Let's get straight to the point. TSA isn't just making up new rules, they're responding to real safety concerns. Starting in 2026, here's what you absolutely cannot have in your carry-on. Larger lithium-ion batteries, think spare phone or camera batteries above 100 watt-hours, they go in your checked luggage now. Certain aerosols and flammable liquids, including some hairsprays, perfumes, and even some deodorants. If it says flammable or contains alcohol, double-check the label. Self-heating meals and snacks. Yes, those instant hot packs and some microwave meals are now banned from carry-ons. Larger e-scooters and hoverboards. Even if you've seen them on social media, they're not allowed unless they're in checked baggage. And here's a big one. Power tool batteries over a certain size are now considered hazardous and must be checked. You might think, I've brought these before, why not now? But TSA is getting stricter and enforcing these rules with fines and even flight delays. So what should you do if you're not sure if your item is allowed? Don't risk your flight. In the next part, I'll show you a quick way to check if your stuff is safe to pack or if you should leave it at home. You don't want to be the passenger standing at the security line with a confiscated item, so how can you make sure you're not caught off guard? First, download the official TSA app. It's updated for 2026 and has a searchable database of every item you might pack. Just type in what you're bringing, like hairspray, power bank, or lithium battery, and it'll tell you if it's allowed in your carry-on. Still not sure? TSA also publishes a full list of prohibited items on their website. Print it out or save it to your phone before you travel. But here's the catch. Even if an item is generally allowed, the rules can vary by airline and airport. Some carriers have their own restrictions, especially on e-bikes, drones, and large batteries. So before you pack, check both the TSA list and your airline's guidelines. What about those last-minute purchases at the airport? You might be surprised what they'll try to take from you, even if you just bought it on your way to the gate.
We've all been there, grabbing that fancy shampoo or a new gadget right before our flight. But in 2026, TSA is watching those purchases even closer. Items bought in the airport security area are subject to the same rules as everything else. Just because you just bought it doesn't mean it's automatically allowed. For example, some travel-size gadgets or cosmetics might still be over the liquid limit or banned outright. If you're not sure, ask a TSA agent before you head to the checkpoint. And here's a pro tip. Keep receipts handy. If your item gets pulled, showing you bought it at the airport can sometimes speed up the process, but it won't change the rules. Think you're safe with your medications or baby formula? Even everyday essentials have new restrictions next year. Next, we'll cover those life-saving items you might overlook. Let's talk about the stuff you can't travel without: medications and baby formula. For prescription medications, the good news is the rules haven't changed much, but you still need to keep them in their original containers with clear labels. Starting in 2026, you might need to declare certain high-dose medications at the checkpoint, especially if you're traveling internationally. As for baby formula and juice, TSA still allows reasonable amounts for feeding infants, but the definition of reasonable is getting stricter. We're talking about single-use packs or a small supply for the duration of the trip, no giant containers. And if you use medical devices like CPAP machines or inhalers, make sure they're charged and ready, and keep them easily accessible in your bag. But what about your laptop and phone? Are they still safe in your carry-on, or are there new surprises waiting for you at security? Let's clear up the confusion around electronics. Laptops and tablets are still allowed in your carry-on, but there's a catch. Your device must be able to power on, and you might need to remove it from your bag during screening. In 2026, TSA agents are instructed to check more carefully for hidden compartments or modifications. As for your phone, charger, and cables, they're generally fine, but extra batteries are a different story. Remember, any spare lithium-ion battery over 100 watt-hours must go in your checked luggage. Don't forget about accessories. Portable chargers, smartwatches, and even wireless earbuds are usually okay, but always check the latest TSA list before you fly. So, you've packed everything right, but what happens if you're selected for extra screening? Next, I'll show you how to breeze through that process without missing your flight. So, you've made it through security, almost. But what if you get selected for extra screening? Don't panic. Stay calm, follow the TSA agent's instructions, and keep your hands visible. Empty your pockets and have your electronics ready. Pro tip: if you know you might be flagged, like if you're traveling with medical devices or a lot of batteries, arrive early and let the agent know ahead of time. And remember, politeness goes a long way. A simple thank you can make the process smoother for everyone. But here's the real secret to never getting caught at TSA in 2026. Stay updated. Rules change fast, so always check before you fly. Think you've got it all covered? One tiny item could still trip you up. Stay tuned for my next video where I reveal the most commonly confiscated item of 2025 and how to avoid it in 2026.